from here.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, we can go again.
On Wednesday, I shall talk about some of the developments in Silicon Valley, but mostly I'm going to talk about studies we have done of entrepreneurial regions in all parts of the world, more in Asia, a little bit in Europe, and not much in South America. That's one reason I am here, because I'm very interested in what's happening in Latin America in general. But I will talk about some of the features that are important for fostering and creating an entrepreneurial community, innovation and entrepreneurial kind of activities. Some of these things are good interaction between universities and industry. That's one of the important things. It's important also to have a mobile workforce, because if people are going to work in startup companies, they have to come from somewhere, and they have to be willing to move from bigger companies into the small companies, having the right policies, the right government policies, labor policies, tax policies, intellectual protection policies. I will talk about that to some extent. And we'll talk about the development of the venture capital industry, what is essential to have a very good venture capital industry. Also about collaborations between companies and nonprofit organizations and local governments, because local governments play an important role in the development of a region, a local region. I will spend some time talking about the importance of the global linkages, the linkages between the companies in the locale, in the science park or in the region, and their linkages to countries elsewhere in the world. Silicon Valley has been very fortunate because we have a large number of immigrant entrepreneurs. There was a study done by a professor at Berkeley in the 1990s where she found that 29% of all the new companies started in Silicon Valley were started by either Chinese or Indian immigrants. And of course, we had immigrants from other countries, smaller countries, so they didn't show up as large in the statistics, but 29%. But most importantly, they created the linkages back to their countries of origin. So it's not an accident that we have very strong linkages to Taiwan, to China, to India, to Southeast Asia, to other Asian countries, because of these immigrant entrepreneurs who played an important role. I will also talk about the importance of leadership and how certain key leaders have stimulated these changes that have been very important for communities. I will then talk about the recent changes in Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley goes through many changes. Most people think of Silicon Valley as a new phenomenon, but it's really more than 100 years old as a high-tech community. So I want to talk about the origin and the various translations, the transitions that have gone through during this period of time, and why we are able to make these kinds of transitions and keep reinventing ourselves. We often speak about reinventing ourselves because Silicon Valley today is much different from what it was 10 years ago, and certainly much different from what it was 50 years ago. So why are these changes occurring? What are the forces of these changes? And how is it that we can respond to those? And the last thing I will talk about is the movement into the clean tech or green technologies. That's been a very dramatic movement. Silicon Valley has now become the largest center of clean tech or green investments in the world, the biggest in the United States and the largest in the world. And how did that transition occur, and why was it possible to make that transition?